Hey guys, quick video here for you on the Jackery and the diesel heater. So, been doing a lot of research. Wanted to get a rooftop tent and wanted to do some camping in the fall and spring, early spring, when it's going to be cold out. So I wanted to get a heater that was going to be reliable and safe for inside of a tent. I know a lot of people will use the heater buddy, and although that can be used, I decided to get this because I was worried that, it'd be, well, I kind of figured it would be safer having the combustion totally outside the tent, and we're going to have a hose that goes up into the tent. So let me show you what I got here. This is one of these Chinese knockoff all-in-one heaters. A lot of the truckers have used these for years, and the parts are separate, but in this case you can buy an all-in-one unit. They have one that's about $1,000 that's American made. This is the Chinese knockoff. It's 150 bucks ish. And what I did was I had to route this exhaust, and so what I did on mine is I just routed it outside here. There's also another port on the back here. Don't know if you can see this too good. Yeah, so that is the intake right there. And I routed that down, just put some wire ties up at the top to keep it in place, and then it goes through this hole, and then you've got the combustion on one side and the intake on the other. So intake comes in, and then combustion is separate, and I've got that routing out the side. Don't want that routing anywhere near the intake, so I just came straight out the side with that. Anyway, I've got it secured here with some safety wire and a magnet, and that's just the way I did it. There's other people who have done it different ways. I bought the muffler separate, so it'd be a little bit louder without that. There doesn't seem to be a lot of heat transfer, so I've got that. I think I've got a pretty decent clearance here. So, but this is pretty decent. I'm not going to take it apart right now because obviously it's running and I don't want to do that. But to take it apart, you remove that diesel cap, and then there's 4 of these snaps, and then this whole piece comes straight up. This one comes with a display. You press the power button and it goes through a cycle. It slowly starts to heat up the glow plug and gets the fan going and does some other stuff, checks for power. And there's also a remote control you can use for this. In this case, all I did was turn on this power button here to the right, and it started its cycle. The heat comes out here, and I should show you here. There's 2 intakes on the back. One of them is for the combustion, and I just showed you that. And then below here is where that's the intake for the air that's going to come into your tent or whatever you're heating. So you want to keep these intakes away from, obviously, your exhaust, which I've got safely going straight up. Depending on the situation, I might add another section of something on the top there, but right now this seems to be doing pretty good. Initially you'll see smoke coming out of the top of that, but once it's burning clean, you don't see any smoke coming out of it, and there's a slight diesel combustion odor to it, but not real bad, and that's not going to be coming into your living quarters. So what they give you is another section of flexible pipe that you put on here with a hose clamp, and then it routes right up into your tent or wherever you're going to be heating. And that, I can tell you right now, that's putting out some good heat. It's adjustable. I've got it, let's see, on 2.2. It goes down to 1.5, I believe. And I don't know what that is. That represents, I think, parts per million or whatever, or something. I'm not going to test to that, but basically if you turn this up, you'll hear the motor starts going faster, and it pumps more diesel into the combustion area. And what I like about this is it's all self-contained. So in the bottom you have this unit that comprises your combustion, and then in the top you have it's sectioned off about halfway down. The top is the tank, bottom is the combustion, and then on the power supply front, they gave me a connector with just a couple of ends here. They had a fuse in it. I think it was a 20 amp fuse. I eliminated that because there's a fuse in my cigarette lighter right there. I believe that's a 15 amp fuse, and I got wire that was sufficiently large. I believe this was 14 AWG, and the one they give you is a little bit smaller, but not a lot. Maybe it's a 16 AWG. Anyway, the Jackery is the 500, and I saw a lot of good reviews on it. It's good for powering a refrigerator, a 12 volt refrigerator, small cooler sized refrigerator for the car or the SUV or whatever you got. And supposedly it can keep a refrigerator going for 12 hours or something, 16 hours, depends on the unit, I would imagine. But I wanted to test it with this diesel heater because, as you can see, we're only drawing 11 watts right now, about 14. I turned this up to show you. I turned the selector up over here to get more heat. It was drawing less earlier, so basically the draw is going to be the glow plug and the pump. So 11, 13 watts, it's fluctuating. I started off at 100%, and that was about 15 minutes ago, so we're at 98%. I could do a test in the future to find out how long this is going to work, but so far so good. It looks like it's not really drawing too much from the Jackery 500, and this should give us some decent heat, especially if we put it on a lower setting. So this will be the first installment. I'll do more videos on this. Obviously I want to take it out and put it to use, but I figured I would get started with this. We're going to do some more videos. Probably going to get a rooftop tent here at some point. We've already been out, now that we're in Idaho, and we've been looking at the back roads, Forest Service roads and BLM land, and so there's tons of stuff to do out here as far as off-roading and overlanding. So we'll be doing some videos on that, but figured I'd start off with this, and thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.